Well, the man who now owns CBS, one of the biggest news networks in the country, has close ties to Israeli intelligence. A new investigation from the Grayzone shows David Ellison met with top Israeli generals who run a secret spy network that's been caught spying on Americans. What was he doing? Meeting with an Israeli spy. So you're telling me that one of the most powerful people who's in charge of shaping what we see every day on the news might also be working hand in hand with a foreign government that spies on us? Wyatt Reed from the Grayzone broke this story, and he joins us tonight to explain exactly what's going on, who's behind it, and how deep it goes, and what it means for the information you get every single day. Wyatt Reed, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
How did you get this information? Who is this Israeli spy that David Ellison, and we should probably also say David Ellison is the son of Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison also just bought TikTok. So it's not just CBS News potentially implicated in this. It's also maybe TikTok. And also David Ellison bought Paramount, which owns like everything. I mean, this goes so deep. And what was he doing meeting with this Israeli spy?
You're right. Well, and the Ellison dynasty touches everything now. It touches all of our media, all of our social media. Now that they're going to take over TikTok as well, it touches all of our legacy media. Basically, every way in which an average American might consume information is now being taken over. And so, what we revealed at the Gray Zone were these leaked emails from the former Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz. So I don't know whether you want to call him a spy. He's certainly a top Israeli military official, and a major Israeli political figure.
Hmm.
Um, he's seen in these emails, though, orchestrating basically what they call is a kind of anti-BDS campaigns. Now, for those who don't know, BDS stands for Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions. This movement that sort of cropped up in the mid, 2000s, early 2010s, as a way of resisting the normalization of Israel. And this was kind of a personal a movement that people could take on personally and just say, oh, I'm not going to buy Israeli brands, or I'm not going to go to Israel. I'm going to engage in a cultural boycott, but with the overarching emphasis being that we're going to cut off and isolate Israel because it doesn't respect international law. It's conducting a slow running ethnic cleansing. And what these emails show is that this was considered basically an existential threat to Israel. They started organizing this campaign, and what we uncovered and what these leaked emails show is the genesis, I think, of kind of the modern Western-facing Israeli propaganda machine that we currently see today. And so the original idea at the time was for Benny Gantz to go out and recruit a dozen Western billionaires, who would be referred to as the 12 tribes of Israel, as a biblical reference, um, and who would be in charge of paying for the Israeli propaganda. Obviously, this is something that the Israelis have, the game that they've been familiar with for many, many years since they first learned how to successfully have APAC avoid registering as a foreign agent, decades ago.
Hmm.
This is something they are very clearly conscientious of, and very clearly attempting to avoid, is having this be, coming directly from the Israeli government. So instead, if you look at some of these actual quotes from the emails, you'll see that the specific language was that funding for this initiative shall be provided by an exclusive group of the 12 most influential Jewish philanthropists, symbolizing the 12 Jewish tribes. Israel's government shall act as a 13th facilitating tribe. And Gantz himself described, here's the language Gantz used. He said, strategically, we want to be a non hierarchical mothership working
Hmm.
for the people and the state of Israel, obviously. So this This was understood as an Israeli government cutout, which would nominally be led by these 12 tribes, these 12 Jewish billionaires, Zionist billionaires. And this was clearly something that the organizers wrestled with, because
Yeah.
the people putting this plan together, which Benny Gantz later approached David Ellison with, were with the Institute for National Security Studies, which is basically the top military think tank in Israel. It's very closely linked with the Israeli military. It's another sort of unofficial kind of cutout for the military itself. And so one of the other organizers of this plan um, noted that government money is a political constraint. These are the exact terms that they used. One of them said, "In the jungle, we need more guerrillas and less IDF." And another one said, "This will not be a covert project, but the connection to the state and the government needs to be very controlled." So you kind of get a picture of what they were attempting to produce here, an American, a Western facing propaganda apparatus which could convey the Israeli government's line, which could help. They repeatedly use in the email, for example, that we have with David Ellison being introduced to Benny Gantz. Um, the exact language is that from the man who's introducing them, he's a Hollywood talent agency executive named Adam Berkowitz. He said that Ellison was, quote, very interested in helping out with the BDS movement, obviously helping out undermining the BDS movement.
Hmm.
And he described specifically this 12 tribes idea. And, David Ellison responded very positively, said that he looked very much, it is a pleasure to meet you over email. I very much look forward to discussing everything you're working on. And, said that they basically made plans to meet up in LA in the new year. So what exactly took place after that? Did they did this 12 tribes concept materialize? Well, not as such, as far as I can tell, but ultimately these ideas did morph into some of the current official Israeli government appendages that we see, which are directed towards Western audiences, which are very explicitly uh, anti-BDS mechanisms. So
Right.
these ideas kind of got refined and express themselves now in other ways. But it is, I think, very telling, and it's all the same players, right? It's all the
Mhm.
same people doing this 10 years ago. They were setting all of this in motion.
How did you guys get these emails? I mean, did you get a source leak them to you guys?
These are from the Handala leaked emails, which came out late last year. They are supposedly acquired by some kind of Iranian affiliated hacking collective, but they're verifiable, and all of the
Mhm.
information in here has held up. I don't think anyone has identified any emails in this trove which have not been legitimate. All of the obviously the signatures, the phone numbers check out, the addresses, right? It's you can call the the numbers that you find in these, and indeed we have to get
Yeah.
comment or to request comment. But these are publicly available. You can find these on distributed denial of secrets. They're a little bit difficult to navigate, but a lot of them are also available on website run by Jack Paulson, another investigative researcher who I've been working on some of this with. And you can find that on at techinquiry.org.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get this straight so that I can really understand the connection here. So David Ellison, he sends an email to Benny Gantz directly or to somebody else?
Directly to Benny Gantz.
Okay,
He is introduced by someone named Adam Berkowitz, who's a
got it.
Hollywood talent
Okay,
executive. Benny was approaching David Ellison. He was seeking his largesse, his financial largesse. He wanted presumably to make the Ellisons one of the 12 tribes of Israel who
right.
would be granting
Or
them a
even two of
million
them.
dollars.
Yeah, or even two
Yeah,
of them. Yeah, maybe
or
there,
perhaps
maybe David be one and Larry would be another. Maybe so. So David. So we've got emails of David and Benny Gantz, the former Israeli defense minister, and they're getting, and he's specifically saying that David's willing. So this agent that connects them specifically says David's willing to help with BDS, like helping to work with this issue.
is David is described as very interested in
Very
helping out with
interested.
the
Okay.
BDS movement.
So not like, hey, you two should get together for lunch. Like we know now, this isn't just okay. Yes, there's David Ellison. He owns CBS News and Paramount. And his dad owns TikTok now, and all this other stuff, right? And it's not just these two got together and hey, look at this. These two are together, like getting lunch or something. No, specifically, the email says David is very interested in helping with BDS, and
Helping
now
out
you
with the BDS
helping out.
movement.
Okay, and then
And I think it's very clear they do not mean helping out with advancing the BDS
right, of
movement.
course. Right. And then on the flip side, you also have Benny Gantz talking about how he's got this 12 tribe project that he's wanting to do. And who does he say this to?
That is in the emails to Ellison.
Oh, he specifically
That's
says to him.
described explicitly in the email introducing Benny Gantz to David Ellison, in which
So he's
Adam.
like, he's got this idea of 12 billionaires. We need to find 12 billionaires. So that's why I'm introducing. I mean, they're that blatant about it. It'd be kind of one thing, when you're looking for a donation, don't you normally just like say, can we get together for lunch? I got some ideas I want to run by you, right? Like it's not so in the email, here he's got a 12 tribes uh project that he wants to do, and he's looking for 12 billionaires, and you're the sucker. Like we're gonna get you.
I'll read you
I mean,
the exact language. Benny meet David. David meet Benny. This is what Berkowitz writes. He goes on to say he, quote, told David briefly about your, Gantz's, 12 tribe idea, which you can expound on to him, which he seemed very interested in. So,
okay.
it's very direct. They're not just
Meeting for lunch
chatting
just
about,
to, okay.
the
Yeah.
Dodgers. They're not. It's very explicit what they're discussing, and they are explicitly getting together to undermine BDS. And
Now,
and this idea presumably had been explained to him at some point already. I don't know why. I mean, just kind of thinking about it rationally, why would any government need you to foot the bill for their propaganda, right? It's as soon as you hear it, it becomes very clear. Oh, because they don't want to be associated with it. They don't want
right, of course. They
it
don't
to
have
be
to register
clear
under
that
FARA.
they themselves are behind this. They
Yeah.
need plausible deniability. They need a facade. They need an American face to spoon feed Americans this propaganda. And so that was the 12 tribes, and that's David Ellison was 10 years ago already looking for ways to serve exactly that role. And now he's found it, far beyond, I think, his wildest dreams. Now he controls a major, network news outlet with access to most Americans' living rooms. Not that,
Yeah.
most Americans are turning on CBS every day, but certainly far greater reach than ourselves, or any sort of organic normal journalist reporter who isn't making these
Right.
$1 billion.
Well, and not only that, but then he puts Bari Weiss in charge,
Right.
and then Bari, who recently did an interview with the Mossad guy, right? The Mossad head. And she's like, people think I'm Mossad, but what is Mossad? And it's like, I mean, they're okay. So just deny it. That's one way to throw people off the trail. Or maybe you really are Mossad, and now here you are running CBS News, like, especially with David saying, that he's willing to be part of the 12 tribes, essentially. Um, I mean, this is all looking really, really terrible.
Yeah. Well, it all comes full circle. The Bari Weiss, the self-described Zionist fanatic,
Yeah,
the director of a fake university, where students pay for the privilege of gathering around and reading Alex Karp's knockoff philosophy novel. They This is it. This is, welcome to Skynet.
yeah,
Here's Palantir. Here's the totally fake news propaganda that's just going to be, shoved down of all of our
Right.
throats for the next decade.
Do you know,
They're all in
Wyatt?
it together.
Do you know who the other 12 tribe leaders are? I mean, I would imagine Bill Ackman. That would be my guess. Is that some money? I mean, he's like an obvious likely target, right? So you've got Ellison's, you've got Bill Ackman. I mean, if he's identified 12 billionaires, who do you have any idea of who these 12 might be?
Well, so only one specifically had apparently agreed to put up the money. They were at this point, they were kind of in the inception, in the inception of this plan. It hadn't really gotten that far off the ground yet. So that was identified as a Canadian book chain owner named Heather Reisman. But they have an Excel spreadsheet that shows all of the different people who they were considering, alongside a box containing their approximate net worth, and then another box containing notes about them. And I can even read them to you. The notes that they wrote. They had Eli Broad, whose net worth was listed as 5.7 billion, who's described as a real estate giant philanthropist supporting pro-Israel causes. They have someone named Selmo Niesenbaum, who's described as an art collector, a partner of Personale Investimentos, who supports the Weizmann Institute. That's the kind of Israeli MIT, as it was described in the news after it was hit during the 12-day war. Very militarily aligned academic sort of center. They had Dorothea Steinbruck, whose net worth was listed as 5.8 billion, who's from the steel industry. They had the Safra family. They have someone named Kevin Burmeister, the founding investor of Skype.
Okay. Oh,
They
wow.
had Frank Lowy, the co-founder of the Westfield Group, operator of over 100 shopping centers in Australia, New Zealand, the U.S., and U.K. Net worth 4.6 billion. Anthony Pratt, net worth of about 7.1 billion. Packaging industry. Edward Kukierman, a French-Israeli businessman. They listed Rothschild family, banking dynasty. They listed Lord Stanley Fink, who has a net worth of $180 million, former hedge fund manager, pro-Israel philanthropist. Sir Ronald Cohen, a British businessman and political figure known as the father of British venture capital. Lord George Weidenfeld, British publisher, philanthropist, newspaper columnist, and pro-Israel supporter. And then Poju Sabludovic, who's a Finnish-born, London-based business magnate, investor, art collector, and pro-Israel philanthropist.
Hmm.
So these were the people who they had listed in this Excel spreadsheet. They had another column which explained who was going to approach these people, and most of them, it was Benny Gantz who was slated, and then a handful of them, it was his personal assistant who was planned to be taking the lead on that pitch. I would have loved to have been a fly in the wall for, by the way. Hey, can we have $1 million to go spread lies about
Right.
pro-Palestinian people, please?
Well, what's also interesting about this list is that it's not just American, and I think that's when it comes to FARA, it's like the foreign governments have to. If you're taking money from the foreign government, then you have to register that. Even if it's coming from the Israeli government, they are subject to FARA. But if it's coming from a foreign individual, then I guess you don't have to register under FARA. If it's just a private citizen who's British, right? Then it
Right.
doesn't
I
really
mean, the
matter.
Murdoch media empire was certainly depended in large part of that. On that.
Yeah.
He's Australian. He's certainly not American, and yet it's totally acceptable for him to own a huge swath of the
Yeah.
news media. And now it's the Murdochs aren't really in charge anymore. Now it's the Ellisons.
Now it's the Ellisons. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. It is free for you to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, KimIversonShow.com. See you there.